Hey everybody, it's Diddy Goes back again with another video. We're on episode number 62, big numbers, and we're playing as Dhanush M16 from India in our 10-minute game today, after which we'll be analyzing the game. And we're playing a Sicilian. I think this is like a Rosalimo, and he blocks with that piece, no worries. I think I just take. He's going to take back, and I'm probably just going to castle and play my C3 D4 idea. Yep, easy as that. And if he ever plays something like Knight F6, I think I can just play Rook E1. I also just have this move. I have quite a few ideas, is basically what I'm trying to say. Something that I'm actually looking at is also just E5 here. Does E5 work? I don't know if E5 works just yet. If I play E5 right here, he could play something like Knight E4. And I guess it can be a bit complicated. If I just push my queen up. Yeah, he just has G5, and that kind of solidifies his position. So I probably want to play Knight C3 first, but then if he plays something like Bishop G4, and then I play E5, I guess he could play like Knight D5 as well. That's something. I think I'll just take, though. Because then he'll take back with this pawn. I can give him a funny check. And if he just brings his bishop back, I'm happy with that. If he brings his queen, I think I can just trade. He'll bring his bishop back. And he does have slightly damaged pawn structure, so we should be able to try to play on the queen side. And this stuff should be locked down, so his bishop should be not in the king. So I'm going to go ahead with Knight C3. Let's check it out. Okay, he castles. Thinking about E5 right now. I guess he just goes back to D7. Is that something? I guess he could also just take here, and if we take back, well, he has this isolated pawn, which I'm happy about. So if he goes back, don't really want to take here. I guess I could play something like queen here, but he just has simply queen c7, and it should be all fine. Another thing we could do is just play h3 because of this bishop. And that might be something that I'm looking at. I'll just go ahead and play h3. It's quick and easy, and I don't feel like it should be too much of a problem. I could expect my opponent to play maybe like bishop a6 or bishop b7 to try to develop this piece, because this side is a bit more dead. If he goes here, it's interesting. Okay, he goes ahead and plays rook. To this square. Certainly interesting. Think about moves like bishop f4. If he does take, I guess right now we have like queen here. Or maybe we have queen here right now. But he does have queen b6 and queen c7 to save everything. So maybe not just yet. Maybe I have to play b3 first. b3, and I'm scared about like opening up this diagonal. So maybe rook b1 is better. Rook b1 could be better. I think I'm going to go ahead with rook b1. Well, rook b1, I could see queen h5 happening because I'm weakening this pawn. But the knight's still protecting it, so it's all good. I'm just going to go ahead with rook b1. We can put our bishop onto this diagonal because this diagonal just looks very nice. And then see if we can break this open. But yeah, that's the plan for now. If you play something like bishop a6, I'm not too worried. I just have to scoot the piece over. And I guess the rook is better on e1 anyways, because I have e5 coming in to blow things up. It would be amazing if my opponent plays something like e5, because I'll just take, he takes back. Actually, that'll just be a free pawn, first of all, and then I'm threatening like some forks with taking like this, so that'd obviously be very good, pretty good. But you can't count on your opponent for making such a funny mistake. If my opponent plays c5 right now, good push, I guess. It's always an idea. If he takes here, I take here. He has to take back. I take here. Nah, I don't like the pawn structure too much. Whoops. He takes here. Yeah, I think if he just pushes, it's just the safest option to just take here. Because when he takes back, I could take his queen, he takes back. Or there's not really a reason to take back with the queen, even. If he pushes here, I take, he takes back. I can play just simply bishop f4, developing with some tempo. And if he ever takes my queen, I just capture back with this rook. And we have control of this open file, so that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's something better. But yeah, let's see. Waiting on our opponent to make a move. He's been spending his time this time. He's been moving relatively quickly throughout the beginning of the game, but I guess something has happened. He's got to come up with a plan for himself. How does he want to play this? It's a pretty big question. Okay. I gotta think about this. What is this? Did my opponent just spend like 2 minutes just to take on e4 with his knight, dropping a full knight for a pawn? I'm not sure. I'm seriously not sure what that's all about. I feel like I have to take, but we're not dropping anything either. Like, this is still covered. Everything still feels covered. If you play something like f4, I'm not scared. I guess I could just back up, and then I'll play like e5 and just trade down. I'm not scared. Show me what you got. Maybe he's thinking about this move. He was thinking about this move. He was thinking about this move. Interesting. Going back to c3, he would take us, and then we come take back. He's using this pin. And what we could do actually is just pin him back. No, but then it disrupts this piece. That doesn't work too well. My opponent found something interesting. I cannot lie. Getting out of this feels a little tough. I'm sure there is something, though. There's gotta be something. If I'm worried, I could always just take back here. Then we're just up 2 minor pieces for his thing. And I guess that could be the way to go. Okay. I don't really see the way to protect it, so I'm just going to go this route. And that's fine. I mean, it's equal material. Thing is that he kind of gave up a rook for... Or he gave up 2 minor pieces for a rook, and oftentimes that works better for the side with 2 minor pieces. We just got to figure out how to put our pieces to good use. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. We could simply just play knight here. I guess if he plays this, that's a bit interesting. Because if we take, he takes over here. I take this. I don't know. I also have to protect this pawn. I guess a really easy way to do that is just play h3. And it's not too much of a problem. I could try to reroute my bishop to this square as well. I think I'm just going to play h3. I'm not scared. I'd love to play just bishop d2 and then bishop c3, and everything should be safe enough. Yep, I'm going to try it out. Because we can put this bishop over here. It seems really solid. I'm excited to see how my opponent tries to break through this. We are getting low on time, as always, so we gotta just be a little careful. But I think we should be fine. I'm not too scared. Not scared at all. Yep, he goes back. I'll just put my bishop over here. Interesting. I could just push my piece here. Should I take? If I take, I guess this happens. So I'm not gonna take just yet. Well, if I move this here, he takes. I take with the knight. Okay, it's not a problem. Okay, I don't think it's a problem. But he is putting some pressure there. And it's certainly interesting. I'd love to put a knight here, I guess. I don't know. Maybe queen here and then put a rook on this side. Uh-oh. He can just take the pawn. I think I messed up. I messed up, guys. He's got a pin. I walked into a pin. That's unfortunate. I walked into a pin. Yeah, that's not good at all. I think I might have messed up really badly. We were doing fine. If I just played queen c this move, I guess it would have been fine. But we didn't. We didn't play that move. And now I'm going to be struggling. I guess I'll take here. My opponent's just up the exchange now, so it's gonna be tough. Let's go here and here. It's gonna be tough, and that's the unfortunate truth. I'll see if we can make any counterplay up here, but yeah. You could play something like this, and all of a sudden my pawns are all falling apart. I have to try to put like a knight over here or something, I guess. It's truly unfortunate. But it's what happens, so can't do too much about it. He could be trying something fun here, too. Speaking of which, if he goes here... yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Yeah. I think we might just be getting checkmated if I try to save my queen now. No way to protect this, so I'm going to have to take here. And then back up here. But I think we're just losing. We're down so much. Queen for a knight. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and resign over here. That was unfortunate. I think we had a winning position. He thought he had a tactic, but I think we still come out better in the tactic. But all of a sudden, I fumbled the bag. and that's unfortunate. But fumbling the bag is what lets us learn. So let's go ahead and check this out in the analysis. So this is all fine. This is a Sicilian defense, main line. We play here, and we're going to do our c3, d4 stuff. Cool, cool, cool. This happens. We play h3, which is the best move. Very cool. Play this. Rook b1 is excellent. Very nice. And he takes over here, which is just a blunder. I take back. He plays this. I go back. I should have played this, apparently. And I kind of want to look at this, because after d5, what do? Now I just go knight d3. He takes. I take back. So this is one position. This is another position. One of the positions, the other position where I ended up. Which one's better? So the engine line has a rook on a semi-open file. Black has committed for its d5 push, which means that you can't really play c5 anymore. So this could be a nice outpost in the future, maybe for a knight like through here or through here. Our line, we still have to move our rook over here, and I don't have an outpost on c5. He hasn't committed to d5 yet, so the c6 pawn isn't as weak. It's still kind of weak because it's on a semi-open file, and you can't really push it too well, or else you'll make an isolated pawn. But it's slightly better. But I see, yeah, it makes sense where what I should have done, why it's better. But continuing the game, he plays queen a5, I play a3, which is a bit of a mistake. I should have played this move. I was a little scared about like c5. But I guess this gives us knight d5, and then we're attacking this pawn. Let's see. Let's say he just plays d6. Oh, we give him a check and then the fork. Amazing. So he's got to commit a move like this to b7. And I guess this is fine. If we take here, takes, check, he goes back and takes. And this is probably much better for us. That makes sense. So that's an interesting move. I didn't think about this. The queen blocks off the... or the pawn blocks off the queen from d5, so now we have this square. And since the queen has moved away, this pawn is also pretty vulnerable. Very interesting. So that's why c3, knight c3 should have been played, because c5 isn't actually much of a danger. He plays this, I play here, and we're pretty solid. Apparently, the engine likes me taking here. And if he takes over here, I guess, do we take over here now? No, we don't. We should just take back, but queen takes c5 first. Makes sense. And this just feels weird, because we're going to be on babysitting mode for these pawns and this knight. So I'm not exactly sure what the engine's thinking. But after something like queen d2, and if he tries to pile up over here, we just play b4. Okay, and I guess we try to stick a knight over here. Queen c6. Oh, the knight's not even weak yet, but we could play something like knight d4 as well, and then put maybe... We've got some strong knights, I guess. They're in the center of the board, and then black's rooks aren't fully utilized because they're on a semi-open file. So instead of that, so after something like this, and I play b4, maybe just this move. But we have b takes c5, of course. We just drop the queen. Okay, that's pretty cool. So we have time to like prepare for the coming battery on the c file, and we can probably just combat it with our own thing, like just put the rook over here and then bring the knight back or something like that. So that's interesting, but that's what should have been played. So this was actually not too much of a scary thing, but I played knight b to d2, which is a mistake. He should have played d5. Let's look at d5. It's interesting. And I guess after something like this, is he trying to just lock up the position? I could see that because our bishop is really bad actually on this square. Yeah. We were talking earlier about how like his bishop's going to be bad if we just lock it up like this. But at least he's attacking our pawn. We're just looking at our own pawn. So this bishop is literally acting like a pawn because it's attacking this square and this square. It's one square more than a pawn. It's pretty useless. So yeah, this c3 actually wasn't the best square for this piece. The reason two minor pieces can often outmaneuver a rook is because they're two pieces, but we're using one of them as a pawn, and this knight's also very defensive, so it's like just 0.1. It's pretty bad. But after this, we should have played queen a4, not this move. Queen a4 would have been fine. You could also just take in here, but after something like this, he takes here. It's a little goofy. I'm not sure. The pawns feel weak, so it's actually drawn. So I actually did fumble my advantage. So after this thing, it was just kind of lost, and can't really do too much. But yeah, going back to the beginning, let's talk about some mistakes. And then the first mistake, starting off with their opponent's mistake, just drops this. But we should have played rook e1, which is a pretty cool move. Rook e1, queen e1 also does the same exact thing, just putting something on this file and forcing black to play d5. That's what we needed. Forcing black to play d5 so that this bishop is locked down. It's only looking at this pawn, and we could always protect this pawn like this. That's what we needed. But giving up giving up so quickly on the rook doesn't make him commit this d5 push. You always want to make your opponent move pawns because they can't move back. But after that, we played a3 with the idea of just getting our bishop onto this square, but it's literally just acting like a pawn. So I think something that I'm going to learn from this game is really don't make your bishop a pawn, because it's a bishop. It's got 3 times as many points. It's 3 times as much of a worth as a pawn. But if you're just going to put it over here as on c3, looking at another pawn, being protected by a pawn, it's literally just part of a pawn chain. It's nothing else. It's not a bishop. It's just a pawn. Use your bishop. So that's, I think, the biggest thing I should have learned. Or I'm going to learn from this game. Knight c3 is much better, and I thought this was scary, but it's not because I have knight d5, which is really cool. After that, let's see. Don't be bad. This knight's so defensive. Yeah, me putting my bishop on c3 takes away this active square from my knight as well. So it's just really bad. No coordination whatsoever. And then, of course, we just pin ourselves and lose the game. Yeah, we had this in the bag, but unfortunately we fumbled it. Still a very good game, other than like the 2 mistakes-ish. Our opponent got a 2500 rating for giving up a knight for some reason. But yeah, I guess I deserve a much lower rating than this. I think that should be it for this game against Tanush, where we play the Sicilian defense. And I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.